When one sense root is liberated, all 6 sense roots are liberated. The Buddha taught that penetrating deeply through a single gate is the fastest path. Among these, the ear faculty is the most perfectly pervasive because its capacity is so vast. You see, the Buddha gave the example that even when you are asleep, you can still hear the voices of others. When you are asleep and people say it is time to eat, you wake up. So, even in sleep you can hear. This includes the bardo state. The ears can hear even there. This shows the extent to which the ear organ is pervasive. It is naturally more pervasive than the eye organ. The eyes cannot see what is behind you, but the ears can hear even what is behind. They are more powerful than the eyes. Therefore, it is better to enter through this single gate. However, from the very beginning, when the dual characteristics of movement and stillness clearly no longer arise, meaning when you start from the later stages of the sequence, you already have no ear, no human ear. You are already practicing from within the self-nature. You are already practicing shamatha vipassana. By that point, you have already broken through the method of relying on sound. Sound is something that arises from your mind. It does not come from the outside. What a sound actually is something you have discriminated. The sense organs and their objects share the same source. Because your sense roots have begun to untie and liberate, sound no longer becomes sound. Whether a beep is the sound of a car or a bird's song is a label you have assigned to it. An infant wouldn't even know. To them, it's just a sound, a beep. They look at it, but they do not know it because they are in a state of not knowing. You, through non-discrimination, enter that realm. At that moment, the 6 senses are actually being cultivated simultaneously. You no longer have a human ear. The human ear no longer functions. You have entered the power of others' minds and have broken through dimensions. When the dual characteristics of movement and stillness do not arise, you are no longer in the human realm. This is the reality of spiritual attainment. Ultimately, it is about non-discrimination within the mind nature. Then all dharmas return to the source. But when you are practicing martial arts, does the mind not discriminate? You have routines and forms. Because you are seeking non-discrimination within movement, it is more difficult than seeking it in stillness. Therefore, countless Buddhas and Bodhisattvas concluded that the full lotus posture is better. You sit in full lotus on a cushion. Because in the beginning, people cannot do it. But once you enter the realm of non-discrimination, then eating, drinking, and daily activities are all fine. When we speak of the mind, because you have returned to the source, we are talking about your mind nature. It is never about the outward form. This includes what was said about lustful mind. In the Sravaka path, it is simply a matter of not committing sexual misconduct. Physical sexual behavior is simply absent. But the great vehicle speaks of lust in the mind. Even if you have no sexual life, even if you were a eunuch or lived in celibacy, you could still have a lustful mind. So that lust is within your mind. If you realize the ultimate truth, realize the source, and realize emptiness, if you have awakened, then every dharma is a preliminary practice. They are all preliminary practices for entering the Shurangama Samadhi. Preparation, expedience, they are all expedient methods, and they are all acceptable. The Shurangama Samadhi is the Samadhi of the self-nature. Our self-nature is fundamentally unmoving. Beyond birth and death, it is inherently in a state of Samadhi. People say that Samadhi is established through movement, but in truth, the Buddha's Samadhi is beyond birth and death. It is the realm of Nirvana, the great Nirvana. Within it, there is no arising or ceasing. It is signless. There is no birth or death, no movement or stillness. So it is called the Shurangama Samadhi. It stays in the first position. Shu means the first, the supreme. All other methods are expedient, means to realize this Samadhi. If you understand the Shurangama Samadhi, everything else is optional. According to your physical condition, for example, if you are weak these days and have been sitting too much, then go practice martial arts and combine movement with stillness. Otherwise, before you have finished your cultivation, your legs will be ruined from sitting too long. Because you have remained unmoving for so long. In the beginning, you need to combine movement and stillness. Why do you need this, while some others don't? Some people have sat for 20 years and they are fine because their minds are pure. Take the sixth patriarch, for example. He was without abiding. He was someone who was very pure from the very start. When he chopped wood with total concentration. When he hauled rice with total concentration. You have so many distracting thoughts. So in the beginning, you must combine movement and stillness. Sometimes when you sit for a long time, you cannot just stubbornly endure the pain in your legs. If you force it for 40 hours, your legs will break. Of course, to this day, I have never heard of anyone's legs breaking from meditation. Usually, when it reaches a certain point, they let go. For a tiny minority, they can enter directly like a flash of fire. For us starting out, if you're still a layperson with the 7 emotions and 6 desires, and your life, work, and affairs interfere a lot, and your inner heart is still conflicted, attached, and full of things, then combine movement and stillness. This means meditation paired with movement. Of course, eating, drinking, and daily life are also movement, but there is also Tai Chi, yoga. There are many things you can practice. If all else fails, just walk or run. Those are the simplest forms of movement. You must keep the body healthy and then tune the mind. In the beginning, it is tuning the mind, and later it is remedying. The difference between remedying and tuning is that we often talk about small methods. The highest view. You know the way. Okay. But today I am frustrated to death here. I sit but cannot stay still. If you really have no other way, go out for a stroll. If that doesn't work, eat something good. If that doesn't work, go to sleep. If you can't sleep, then just be frustrated. I don't believe it can stay frustrated until tomorrow. If it really stays frustrated until tomorrow, I'll deal with it the day after. You can tune it in all sorts of ways. In any case, it is just the 6 senses being knotted and tossing you around. The Buddha said that happiness is the 6 senses and affliction is also the 6 senses. But you are a Buddha. You are a Buddha. But right now you lack the power to untie the knots. These 6 senses, perception and cognition, are influencing you. What is liberated are the 6 senses, not the Tathagata. Once these 6 senses are untied and begin to function interchangeably, you are thoroughly liberated and your Kung Fu will arrive. The supernatural powers and spiritual transformations that everyone always likes will follow, and you will have a great sense of achievement.